So, welcome to today's video about ultramarine pinks and reds. And we have two different pigments those colors are made of. We have the PV15 version and we have a PR259 version. Um, of course, the PV15 would be normally an ultramarine violet, but like we have some ultramarine violets, which tends a lot more towards the ultramarine blue. We have some ultramarine violets, which are tending much more to the ultramarine pink. We have here first the ultramarine red from Daniel Smith. It's a PV15 version, and this is the first time I will be using this color. I tried to look up in the internet if it's more of a violet or a pink, because the color on the tube wasn't very helpful. And I found many pictures and many videos, and some of them looking more towards violet, some more towards pink, and I was very confused and super unsure if it would be better suited for this video or the PV15 version. I've decided to put it in here because the red of the name red, and I thought it would be a lot more leaning towards an ultramarine pink. My big problem was I've bought this tube and the Old Holland one, for example, around end of spring, beginning of summer. And then my box with all of my pink tubes were missing for a month. And I've just found it around last week or so. That's the reason why I had to stop making those videos, because I wanted to put them in order, and I thought, oh damn it, I can't do the pink video without pink colors. So that was a big problem, and I just don't have the money to buy all of the tubes over again. So yeah, had to find it first. The color itself is a beautiful color, I think, but it is definitely not a red and it is not a pink. So I think the name ultramarine red is very confusing, and I'm honest, I don't like color names which are that much misleading, because people who don't know the color, who don't know, or maybe just beginning, if you're reading the name red, then you're expecting to get somewhat of a red or a pink color. And this is much more leaning towards violet. I would say it's probably somewhere in between an ultramarine violet and an ultramarine pink. So yeah, I think just that is very confusing. And I know that even under people who are doing arts or watercolors for many years, not a lot, or it is just a part of the people who are knowing of ultramarine pink or using colors called ultramarine pink. So you could make art for 30 or 40 years and don't know the color. It is not super widely known or used color. Not a lot of brands offer it anyways. So if you are never used one of those colors before and you read the name ultramarine red, I at least would expect something completely different in color shade. I don't say the color isn't beautiful, because it is, but it is just a very misleading name, in my personal opinion. And that is something I don't like that much. But okay, that is my opinion. It doesn't have to be yours. The color itself is beautiful, although it is definitely a lot more on the violetish side than all the other colors we will be swatching now. Don't wonder why I had put the ceramic palette here, because it came so much of the color out. It seems it was under some kind of pressure, and I couldn't. Sometimes you can, with pressing on the lower part, you can draw it back in, but it didn't work, so I had to put it somewhere. didn't want to waste that much of color, because in Germany Daniel Smith colors aren't very cheap. So yeah, and I'm also someone, I always get the most out of my paints. So I'm not wasting anything. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is also a PV15 version, and you can see immediately that it looks completely different. It's called Ultramarine Pink, and it is from Core. Sadly, the pigment supplier from the company Golden, which makes the Core watercolors, don't offer this pigment anymore. So Core has been discontinuing this color completely this year. So if it is a color which you now say, oh, it looks very, very beautiful, I want to have it, then I would look immediately if you can in some shops still get a tube of it. Because when the stock is gone, it's gone forever. They don't make this color anymore. That is also a reason why it wasn't so easy to say I would have bought all the colors again, because in the shops I am shopping most times in Germany, this color was already sold out at the point I realized that my pink tubes are missing. So yeah, maybe some other brands still have it, but can't say for sure. I mean shops, not brands. Sorry about that one. Okay, so the next one we will be swatching is from Mgram. It's also a PV15 version, and it's also called it's also called Ultramarine Pink. You can see immediately that it is again completely different. It's more, I would say, in between the Core and the Daniel Smith versions. The Daniel Smith leaning more towards the violet, the Core version more towards the pink, and the Mgram version is in between. What I realized when the swatches were really completely dried, I will show this in the end of the video, also in a close-up, that this color has somewhat of a color separation effect itself. If you may have seen my ultramarine violet video, I will put links in the description box below if you haven't. Then you may remember that I said that all PV15s have an amount of PB29 always in them, because in the changing process with heating and adding chemicals, some of the PB29 don't change to the violet versions. And that is something I think you can see here, because we have areas where the color is very pinkish and areas where it's more violetish and where it's more purplish, where you can see higher amounts of more blue particles. So yeah, that is definitely something very cool. I think I like something like those very much. I'm a big fan of color separation effects, and if you have it in single pigment colors, it is super special. So the next one I've shown you is from the company Old Holland. And I've bought this tube especially, or better said, only for this reason. I normally don't own Old Holland colors. I have only this and another one. They are super expensive in Germany. I don't know why, because it's our neighbor country, but maybe the brand itself is just super expensive. That's the reason why I don't own many colors. It is a PR259. But you may read it when I showed it just a minute ago, that the tube says ultramarine quinacridone, and that is something I was totally confused about. So if you have any information what that exactly means, if it's just a fancy printing or of them, or if they are adding some quinacridone color to it, and that's the reason why it says ultramarine quinacridone. I don't know, because all the information I found is that it is a single pigment 259. I don't know what they mean with the quinacridone, but when I compare it with all the other colors, it is super, super delicate, very weak uh, in its tinting strength in comparison to the other colors, and it doesn't show a granulation. It, yeah, you can see hues of granulations in some of the corners, but it's super, super soft in its effect. So it could be that they maybe done some other pigment in it and just didn't write it down, and that is why they are calling it ultramarine quinacridone. I don't know. So that's, like I said, super confusing color for me. The next version is from Roman Schmal. Um, it's also a PR 259 ultramarine pink. And I want to add some information to the ultramarine pink. Of course, like ultramarine violet is made of a PB29. When we are working more with the PV15, then we are gaining our PR 255. So all the ultramarine pigments start out the same, and it is just for every different shade, it is more heating and adding more chemicals to it. That is something completely different here with the ultramarine family, because in all the other pigment families, we normally don't have one pigment where we start and then changing it with heating and chemicals, but we have from the beginning, we have completely different colors. So yeah, if you heat the ultramarine violet for around 4 hours and add gaseous hydrochloric acid to it at around 200 degrees Celsius, or heating it at higher temperatures, also for around 4 hours, and adding gaseous nitric acid, then we are getting the ultramarine pink to PR 259. It is, apart from the art department, it is also widely used in the cosmetic industry. I think colors like that could be in eyeshadows, in lipsticks, or maybe in rouge, something like that. So now we will be swatching the last one. This is also a hand-made one from the same brand. I've shown you the Smalt in the Cobaltfamiliy videos, or the Lapislazuli and the Ultramarine Extra Dark in our Ultramarine series. It's also, like I said, a PR 259. The pigment itself is a light valued dull red violet pigment, and it is a light fast pigment as well. And it is a granulating pink color, and that is something super, super rare. I know only 3 granulating pinks. We have the ultramarine pink, we have the potter's pink. I think that is what probably is the color which are known which is known the most, but it is not like a real pinky pink. It is more of a in Germany we would say an old rose color. So it is more not as vibrant as an ultramarine pink, for example. And we have the Yintico red, which is very magenta-ish like granulating pink. So granulating pinks is something special. We don't have a lot of those. So let's take a closer look to our colors. Like you can see here, there are definitely parts where the color is darker from core. I just probably didn't use enough color. And here you can definitely see those different areas with violet, pink, and more bluish areas. So there is definitely a bigger color separating effect. You see how weak the Old Holland is in comparison to Roman Schmal. Also, the handmade one and the M-gram one are closest in hue to each other, and I would say the core and the Roman Schmal one are also closest in hue to each other. Those are also the four variations I would say I would buy again, which I think are very beautiful, and I am very glad that I've gotten a tube of the core version. Like I said, if you really want to have it, now would be the best time to look if you can get one. Yeah, I would say the M-gram and the handmade one are a little bit more leaning towards violet, while the core and the Roman Schmal version are more on the pinker side. So we have here different different shades. I would say the Old Holland one also will be added to the more pinkish side one, but like I said, it is super, super weak in comparison. If you don't want a pinkish version and you can't get a hold of the core, or if you say it is too expensive, I would really recommend the version from Roman Schmal. It is super vibrant. It can get quite dark, and it has definitely a nice granulation. It's not as strongly here on this paper, but it isn't the best paper for granulation. So on a rougher paper, you would definitely see it better. Also, if you're leading, your taste is more a little bit touch of violet than the other twos here, the M-gram and the handmade ones are definitely more on this side. So yeah, I think that if you are more liking the violetish touch or the pinkish version more, is just a personal preference. There is nothing in quality I can say it would be better or worse than each other. So they are all beautiful. Definitely the Daniel Smith version is completely different in its color. I wouldn't say it is a red or a pink. It is a beautiful color, but yeah, it's more of a standalone as it is somewhere in between the pinks and the violets. Definitely, I would say more towards the violets than the pinks. Yeah, I don't know if there are other companies also offering an ultramarine pink. That is only the ones I have. Definitely not a color which you will find in every brand. Yeah, I would like to know, do you own an ultramarine pink or not? What is your experience with the color, or by watching this video, if is it a color you have ever heard of before? Or is it something you now learned with those videos? Also, if you haven't have any experience with the color, would it be something you would say you would buy or like to try? Like I said, granulating pinks aren't that many, but of course not everyone is a big granulation lover as I am, which is completely fine. Just go with what you like. So I really hope that the video was helpful and interesting for you. Maybe learning something new, discovering a new color or a new pigment, and or yeah, also helping to decide if you say this color would be something you are interested in, that this little comparison can help to decide which version is the one you like the most. Of course, prices, like always, varies strongly depending on where you live. So that is always a point to consider, that some brands may be more affordable than others at your place. I don't include any price stuff because it differs so much from area to area, and also the prices change a lot over time. So yeah, that is that. I thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and like always, I will be super, super grateful for a thumbs up or follow because it helps my channel so much. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.